Hi, I'm Life Coach Landry, and the topic is reasons why happiness is eluding you. If you're one of those people where happiness just seems to be just out of reach, or you just can't quite get it together, you keep running into frustrations every day, and it seems like happiness is just beyond your grasp, no matter how hard you try to feel good, it may feel like a lot of people have this happiness thing down, and you're one of those outside the circle going, "What the hell, man? Why isn't that me?" So, here are some reasons why happiness may be eluding you and how you can fix it. You're too hard on yourself. This is the first one, okay? So you may be expecting perfection from yourself, and when you don't reach it, you get upset with yourself. No one's perfect, so aim for good enough. Good enough is pretty damn good as a human. Okay, I always say if you're getting 80% of what you're trying to accomplish, you're doing pretty damn good. So very few things in life require that you do them perfectly. Actually, it's only you that thinks that. And if you do something perfectly, you're still an imperfect person, whether you get something perfect or not. The imperfections are what makes life interesting and fun, and will likely make you uniquely line up with somebody else in a way. So imperfections give you good stories to talk about later. Remember, you always have the right to do less than what is humanly possible. Number two, you forget you have a choice. Remember what I said in all my other segments? I constantly repeat this. Happiness is a choice. If you don't like it, change it. If you can't change it, look at it different. And if you can't look at it different, walk away. You forget you have a choice, okay? So you may be feeling stuck in life, and you're having the same issues at work and hearing the same complaints from your kids and having the same money issues every month. First, try to change something about your circumstances. If you can't change your circumstances, you can change how you feel about them, right? So when you change just one thing in your life, your whole world changes, right? I mean, think about if you change 10 little tiny things that you do in your day every day. That will eventually make a large change overall. So sometimes we have difficulties making changes in our lives, and it means taking risk and experiencing loss. However, when you don't make changes, you start to condition yourself that you don't have choices. You do. So don't ever tell yourself you don't have a choice. Number three, you're aiming for happiness instead of content or meaning. So people who find happiness usually describe it as being content or finding meaning in their lives. Being happy can be overrated. Change your definition of it. Okay, so if you're one of those people that being happy is overrated, you need to start to change the way you're viewing that, because it's not. Happiness may not mean smiling and filling up every day, but happiness sure can mean that you can give back to others in your community, give back to your friends, or give back to yourself. You have a close relationship with others or people you work with. For a cause maybe you believe in or something like that, but do something to give it meaning, because happiness without meaning is you just floating around doing nothing. Number four, you rely on others for your happiness. This is a huge mistake. You have to realize nobody in this world is going to make you happy. Happiness is a personal choice, a personal viewpoint, a personal perspective, whatever you want to toss it up as, whatever word makes you understand that better. Quit bullshitting yourself and tell yourself happiness is what I want it to be. Okay, life is like a cake. If you have holes in your cake and try to fill those holes with people's approval and love, you'll never have a whole cake. Okay, so however, if you work on having a whole cake on your own, other people become the icing on the cake. So how do you work on having a whole cake? Self-reflection, therapy, meditation are just some of the ways you can work on feeling whole. Okay, so think about those things. Number five, you have too much stuff. Studies found that clutter is associated with an increased rate of depression and anxiety, in particular to women. Read more about clutter's relationships to depressions and anxiety just by Googling it, and you can find tons of information about it. If you have constant visual clutter, it just brings you down. Get tough with yourself about whether you use the items in your home. I'm a neat freak. Everything in my house either has a look or a functionality. Everything else is either put in a box or thrown away. So have a trusted friend or family member help you go through your closet, garage, or other areas that you've accumulated. The law of usage states that if you neglect using an item, it tends to run down and break. And give it to someone who can use it. Number six, you are envious of others. There's nothing good that will ever come from you just totally being infatuated with the idea that someone has something you don't. The reason we struggle with insecurity is because we compare ourselves beyond the scenes with everybody else and everyone's highlight reel. Okay? So remember, when you see someone, you see something that's their highlight reel. Now, are there some people out there that we're just like, Jesus, if I could be like that, that'd be fucking great. But sometimes that's not the case, okay? What you see on social media are people's highest and highlight reels. You don't see the day-to-day struggles everyone faces. Everyone has challenges. It's how you perceive your challenges that make you different. And that leads to, the next one. You focus on the negative, okay? So your beliefs about what happens to you greatly influence your consequences. This ties into the number 2 above. You forget you have a choice. You always have a choice on what you're gonna focus on. If you step into a puddle on the way to work, you can either curse a storm out in the cloud, incredibly unlucky, or you can say things like, "These things happen, damn it, oh well," and go about your day. Which choice do you think makes you feel better? The next time you have a negative thought, visualize a stop sign popping up. Now change the negative thought to a positive. The more you practice this technique, the more your brain will automatically think positive things, or at least be neutral about it. It is what it is, Next, you don't make time for fun. As you probably heard me say in other segments and whatnot, I'm the type that can laugh at a funeral. I'm the type that, I get things, I know when to be serious and get things done, but the rest of the time, life should be fun and easygoing. If things seem heavy or serious most of the day, it might be that you're not taking enough breaks or for just plain fun. Many people think being serious means being, solemn, but if you're taught a class, or if you've taught a class, then you know that people learn more when the material is presented in an enjoyable way or a monotone, boring, how am I ever going to learn this crap way, okay? So, which leads to you have issues with your neurotransmitters. This is for people that actually have chemical imbalances. You may have inherited genes for depression, anxiety, ADHD, or other issues that impact your levels of your neurotransmitters and brain chemicals. Medication has found to be the most effective treatment for these issues, and a combination of medication and therapy have been found effective as well, obviously. So see your primary care doctor for referral. Look in, any kind of psychology research or whatnot to kind of get referrals from, and get referrals from friends and family. And then the last one, which might actually not seem like a big deal for most people, but it actually is. You aren't getting enough exercise. Regular exercise increases low levels of dopamine and serotonin in your brain. The neurotransmitters that I told you about, earlier. When you increase those low neurotransmitter levels, you reduce symptoms of anxiety, depression, ADHD. Even exercising for as little as 20 to 30 minutes a day can help you feel better. Quick ways to get exercise in your workday are to take the stairs instead of the elevator, parking further away from your office, walking instead of, taking a moving, escalator or whatever. But focus less on pursuing happiness, shows up more quickly when you really dedicate some of these kind of things to it, right? So it's one of those things where you've got to take it seriously. Are you one of those people sitting around, you're constantly finding yourself not happy? Or no matter what friends you have, it always seems like they're in a better mood than you? Or are you the opposite? You're surrounded by people that are constantly bringing you down. You need to shed them and get into a better environment. Remember, half of the way you act and feel is a choice. And the other part is about who you surround yourself with. Because you can make all the good choices in the world, but if the company that you keep is constantly reminding you of another perspective, it's hard not to think of that perspective too. So remember, happiness is a choice overall, but also there are environmental and miniature choices inside there that can add or take away from that. So that should make, a little bit of a kind of way to get your brain kind of moving like a gear, right? So I'll recap. You're too hard on yourself. Okay? You forget you have a choice. You're aiming for happiness instead of contentment or meaning. You rely on others for your happiness. You have too much stuff. You're envious of others. You focus on the negative. You don't make time for fun. You have chemical issues, or you just not get enough exercise, or all of the above. Go one by one down this list and check them off. I guarantee if you work on at least 5 of these things, you will be happier. But at the very, very end of it all, you'll be happier because you'll make a choice. And by doing at least 5 of these 10 things I've mentioned, then you're already making a choice. You're on the right path. So if you'd like to book a personal session, contact me at the email below. And if you found this information of value, show your appreciation by clicking the PayPal donation link below. And I will talk to you soon.